Hi, today I want to discuss with all of you about fine dining, about why fine dining is so expensive and what it takes to be a fine dining chef. Right in front of us, we have Thomas Keller, one of the world's most renowned chefs in our current generation. He is famous for having restaurants like Per Se and the French Laundry. But before Per Se and the French Laundry, Thomas Keller was just a cook like all of us, a cook with a grand goal. He was a cook at the Dune Club in Narragansett. Then he moved to New York. And then he started working at a mom and pop shop. For something great to happen, sometimes you have to fail first. After his first fall apart with his partner at Raquel, he came upon an old restaurant that used to be a, a laundry house that was altered into a small French restaurant. Thomas Keller raised $1.2 million in 19 months to build a new restaurant that we all know as the French Laundry. They reopened in 1994, and the rest is history. Several years after the restaurant opened, they earned several Prestige awards. Now that we see the story of Thomas Keller, we need to understand what happened during the process. There is an interview with Thomas Keller, and he said in this interview, "There was a moment that I realized that I don't know everything. I might be thriving in my environment, and that is the kitchen, but finance and the front of house service is not my best area." Even Thomas Keller, one of the most renowned and extremely refined in skill and knowledge, admitted that he doesn't know everything. This to show a restaurant of that caliber require years of experience that cannot be taught, and it must be earned. Throughout growing up, I was introduced into the scene of fine dining through the likes of Gordon Ramsay and Thomas Keller. I remember as a child watching the TV, Anthony Bourdain first visit to Thomas Keller. Anthony Bourdain came with Eric Prepare and two famous sommeliers. As a treat for the customer, Thomas Keller created four special and 20-course dinner in one night. Thomas Keller cooked 80 different dishes that were all his own creation. That was still one of the most craziest dinner I have ever witnessed. After seeing Thomas Keller create 80 dishes individually paired with 7 bottles of wine, I started to wonder maybe I can also do something like this. To me, it was the most blissful 4 hours. As I mature throughout the year, my dream become goals. Checkpoint that start to appear measure how much I have improved. The first time I received my fine dining experience and training, it was pure hell. Everything that I was taught and every habit that I created during the time I worked at different restaurant, it was all wrong. I had to start over and relearn how to do the most basic tasks like cutting onion, tomatoes, and potatoes. I learned how to be open-minded, understand how to treat every produce. I immersed myself in these harsh yet very bliss hours. I trained for 8 months, and my eyes were open. The world fine dining is so vast. There will never be two fine dinings serving the same dish. There will be never two restaurants that have the same theme. They might be similar in cuisine, but every chef have their own footstep. They own their own food and truly own what they make. For them to be able to create and own the food that I created required decade of training. Cook thousands of dishes and read thousands of books. The respect I have for them is immeasurable. Their dedication for the arts is the biggest cost factor. After being through the training, I understand why it's so expensive. When you come to a restaurant and sit down, you don't just eat the food. Before coming to the restaurant, you always get before coming to the restaurant, first you receive the blessed atmosphere. The server that happily greet you, the table that's ready set for you, the water that's already been poured when you sit down. From ordering wine to beer or soda, you always get to know where it come from and how it was made. When it comes to food, you don't just eat, you savory, enjoy, slowly taste, and feel the story from the dishes. Each dish stands for decades of training and trying to achieve the best of the best with their customers. When I hosted my first event last summer of 2022, I had to stay up 3 nights in a row to make sure all of our prep is done. The pressure to make sure to deliver an event as spectacular as possible. Every time we serve, we act as our last, because if we do a bad job, customer won't come back because we just charged someone $100 for a meal. As a chef, when we cook, we understand how expensive the customer have to pay to come and enjoy this. We truly try our best to meet the price point expectation and throughout the year of gruesome practice and non-stop learning. As I mentioned, the price point is how high the quality of the food should be. I've heard many times when friends or family mention when they go to a fine dining restaurant, they said the food is not for them. So the portion are too small and they can get better food. So much cheaper. I always have to explain this. A fine dining restaurant is a reflection of the chef as a person, how adventurous they are, how far they're willing to go for their food, and how much time they spend crafting and developing their recipe. When you come to a restaurant, you don't just eat, you smell, you feel, you enjoy every bite, every interaction. That's the only way to truly enjoy fine dining. To me, fine dining is just an experience of a lifetime. Sometimes it can change your life. Sometimes you gotta keep finding new one. My suggestion to anyone that want to go and try a fine dining restaurant, do your research about it. Research about the restaurant, about the chef, about the cuisine that they're cooking. It will give you an idea of what will you be eating. Be adventurous, and I hope I have changed your mind about fine dining, even just for a little bit. Thank you.